Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity. I'm Reverend Marla Mason, and I am feeling so grateful to welcome you to our spiritual community this morning, our online spiritual community. We're here on Zoom, we're live on Facebook, and we are all about getting the message out, the message of love, of inclusion, of the power and grace of the infinite something from which we all spring. Here at Unity, we're about waking up to that infinite source. That's something greater than we are, and we are about waking up to that so that we can make a difference in the world, so that we can make the world a better place for everyone. We are advancing spiritual awakening throughout the Puget Sound region and now throughout the world, because we are 100% online, and it's working for us, isn't it? So grateful to welcome you all into the love vibration that we are. I do want to take a moment before we begin this morning to recognize and honor the life and the transition of Congressman John Lewis, who passed in the last week. Powerful man who lived his life in service to a mission of equity and equality and inclusion and civil rights for all. And he left this physical realm this week. And for myself, I have chosen to use this transition as an opportunity for me to consider what is mine to be, what is mine to know, what is mine to do around civil rights in our country and in the world. How am I to pick up what he has put down for us, what he gave his life to? And so I want to acknowledge his passing, and I want to invite you to consider what is yours to do, what is yours to be, that would honor this great man, this powerful man who stood for something so incredible. And so let's bless his transition and his life. And let's just allow in the coming days to come into our awareness what is ours to do and be, and knowing consciousness that would further enable his mission in life. It's a beautiful day in Seattle. I'm so grateful. The sun is out, the sky is blue. And I am pleased to welcome into our virtual community here this morning, Reverend Sally Robbins. I am grateful to recognize her as a friend and a beloved of my heart. I first met Reverend Sally in 2008 when we found ourselves assigned as roommates at a conference. And what an experience that was. My life has been different ever since. I consider Reverend Sally a dear friend and a confidant and a beautiful human being. And an example in ministry to me. She has been in ministry for over 20 years. We're very similar in that she had a 25-year corporate career before she came into ministry. She is a powerful woman of truth. She is a writer for Science of Mind magazine. And has held leadership roles in the Centers for Spiritual Living organization. And I'm just really feeling blessed to welcome her. If you were part of the Center for Spiritual Living in Bellevue at the time of my ordination, you might remember Reverend Sally was the presiding minister. And that felt appropriate to me. I invited her to be the presiding minister for my ordination because she kind of presided so much over my growth. As a minister. So welcome to our community, Reverend Sally. She is in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm so grateful that we have this online experience in which we can have people join us from afar. Welcome. She'll be giving a message here a little bit later. I also want to welcome Amber Sweeney. She's our guest artist this morning. Give her some love. You all know Amber. She's been with us before. We're so grateful to welcome her back. She brings just a wealth of beauty and energy and life to her music, and we're super, super grateful for her. So Amber, I think you're going to bless us with a song, and then we'll have our pray-in.
Morning, everybody. Thank you guys for having me. This is a song by Alicia Keys, and it is called Holy War. If war is holy, and sex is obscene, we've got it twisted in this lucid dream, baptized in boundaries, schooled in sin, divided by difference, sexuality and skin. Oh, so we can hate each other and fear each other. We can build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, yeah, we can hate each other and fear each other. We can build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, locked in. Oh, maybe we should love somebody. Oh, maybe we could care a little more. So maybe we should love somebody instead of polishing the bombs of holy war. What if sex was holy and war was obscene and it wasn't twisted? What a wonderful dream, living for love, unafraid of the end. Forgiveness is the only real revenge. Oh, so we can heal each other and fill each other. We can break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick. Keep yourself open, yeah, we can heal each other and fill each other. We can break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick. Keep yourself open, open. So maybe we should love somebody, and maybe we could care a little more. Oh, maybe we should love somebody instead of polishing the bombs of holy war. Maybe we could love somebody, yeah, yeah. Maybe we could care a little more. Oh, maybe we should love somebody instead of polishing the bombs of holy war. What if love is holy and hate is obscene? We should give life to this beautiful dream. 'Cause peace and love, you know, they ain't so far if we nurse these wounds before they scar. Let's nurse these wounds before they. Let's nurse these wounds before they scar.
And so we take the sacred breath together, breathing deeply in knowing and understanding that though we may appear to be distant in space, there is only one life, and we have our being in that life. And so we are intimate. At the same time that we are infinite, we are at one in the very spirit of all life, all love. And we allow ourselves now to be lifted in love. We allow ourselves to be lifted in the consciousness that something wonderful is happening and we are willing participants in the wonder. And so it is in this consciousness that I call forth a blessing on this time and on each person that is gathered here this morning. I know that our hearts and minds are open and that everything that happens here today conspires to take us deeper in the conscious awareness of life, of love, of peace, of grace. And so I open this sacred and holy time together with a grateful heart, and I simply call it good, and let it be. And so it is. Amen. And so I'm going to invite you in a moment to join me in the affirmation. I'm going to read it through once. And as I read it, I invite you to just in this attitude, this pose of receptivity, allow these words to open your heart and bless your soul. I accept and bless every part of me, every moment of my life and my being. And I rise boldly into the awareness of my oneness with everyone and everything. Connected and complete, I say yes to a world that works for everyone, and so it is. Please join me with conviction. I accept and bless every part of me, every moment of my life and my being, and I rise boldly into the awareness of my oneness with everyone and everything. Connected and complete, I say yes to a world that works for everyone, and so it is. Amber?
Forgive me. I am not made for captivity. I am made to be free. I've got shackles on my heart. I'm in search for the key. I'm afraid that I'll lose my way. Take all these risks just to fall back on the ground. I need to turn myself around and reach for the whispers from where I was found. Go ahead and put down that shame. Go on and pick up that grace. Discover the good in yourself. There's a great big world with many stories to tell. So write yours, my love, and be well. Write your story, my love, and be well. Ooh, yeah. Now I'm taking the first steps, but my feet fall beneath me. I lifted the weight off of my chest, but it's still haunting me. So long I've been fooling myself, believing the lie that I can't put down that shame. Go on and pick up that grace. Yes. Discover the good in yourself. There's a great big world, many stories to tell. So write yours, my love, and be well. Write your story, my love, and be well. Oh, you don't have to wait for it. Don't have to slave for it. Just open your hands and receive. Open your eyes, baby. Open your mind. It's the one thing in life that's truly free. Go ahead and put down that shame. Go on and pick up that grace. Yes. Discover the good in yourself. Oh, oh, go put down that shame. Go on and pick up that grace. Discover the good in yourself. Oh, there's a great big old world, many stories to tell. So write yours, my love, and be well. Write your story, 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 my love, and be well.
Wow, Amber, thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. We're so blessed to have your talent this morning. And I am very blessed that Reverend Marla invited me to be a part of this, your community's gathering this morning. As Marla said, we go back to 2008 when we met, and we were just remarking that every time we get back together, it's like no time has passed. You know, that's when you know they're like, you know, you're real soul sisters and soul brothers. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of this wonderful community, because I know who Reverend Marla is, and a woman of principle, and one that I admire greatly. So when she told me that the lesson this morning was Courage Over Comfort with Brene Brown's Rising Strong, one of my all-time favorite authors, I was just like, yes, yes, I absolutely can resonate with that. I was recently in a grocery store, and you know how when you finish getting all your groceries and you take your cart and then you scan the checkouts, and it's like, okay, who's going to get me through the quickest? And you scan, and if you see somebody with a loaded cart, you know, okay, not that one. And if there's a long line, oh, not that one. And then you hope the one that you pick is the one that gets you through the quickest. Am I the only one that does that? I don't think so. So I'm in there and I'm like, okay, let me pick this one. And it looked like it was going to be easy going. The woman in front of me got up to the checkout, and she started an argument with the cashier when the cashier rang up the item that she was buying as $1. And she said, no, it's 99 cents. The sign back there said it was 99 cents. And the cashier said, ma'am, I'm sorry, it's you know, 10 for $10, it's $1 a piece. No, it's 99 cents. Now, this went on for several minutes, and I started getting really frustrated because I'm thinking, are we arguing over a penny? I was ready to just, like, you know, whip out my wallet and give her 50 cents or whatever it was, the difference. And then I started laughing at myself, because I'm always looking for the opportunity to find the spiritual nugget in everything. And here this woman was my teacher. This woman in front of me was my teacher. And I wanted to see how Can I learn from her? Patience has never been my strong suit. And so this was a way for me to go, okay, a few more minutes as she clears up whatever her issue is not going to be the end of the world for me. It was a fabulous opportunity for me to learn how to break out of my comfort zone and have the courage to walk into what's the lesson here for me. So that's what I want to address this morning. Who are the people and the circumstances that break us out of our comfort zone into a place that it calls us to rise to a greater level of spiritual understanding and awakening, so that we are then larger essences in this world? We are in the midst of a huge change going on in our world. Things are shifting all over the place. COVID-19, racial unrest, just communities, politics. There's so much that is calling us to a greater understanding of the oneness. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that you would agree with me that oneness is a lifelong lesson, because we have chosen to incarnate into a world of multiplicity, and yet our foundational spiritual teaching is oneness. And so when these things come up that make us look like there's multiplicity, there are others out there, it is incumbent upon us to then go, wait a minute, there's only one of us here. It's all about what is going on within me. Where is it showing up in me? And how can I move forward with clarity and understanding, compassion, kindness, all the things that I claim to be? Am I truly embodying that? That's the clarion call this morning. Are we rising up to that call that is bringing forth the greatness that's already there within us? You don't need one more ounce of courage in you. You've got it all. But you need to call it forth at the appropriate time to stand firm as the spiritual being that you are. That's what I want to address this morning. So I want to start with a word that I found, a Hindu word that is fabulous, that will really help us understand what we're talking about this morning. So I'm going to, can everybody see my screen? Okay. So let me move this to, there we go. So upaguru is the Hindu word that I found that really encompasses what I'm talking about. And the definition of upaguru is this: the teacher that is next to you at any moment. Now that means the person who's checking you out. That means the husband or wife that is having an issue with you right now. That means everyone in your world is the opportunity to be teaching you at any and every moment. I'd also like to include that it's not just the people, it's the circumstances, the events also can be teaching us if we're available to be taught. So the real question here is, are you teachable? Because if we are saying that we are teachable, that we are constantly growing, we're living on that growing edge of spirituality, that means that we must shift from time to time, that it's not some constant, flat line. There are peaks and valleys. I remember Peace Pilgrim talking about how her spiritual journey consisted of, and she actually drew it out. It was a line that went up and then down and up and then down and up. And it gradually went up and up, but there were peaks and valleys because we are constantly realizing who we are in the midst of being in this multiplicity. And then we have moments where we identify as humans, as that with the lesser qualities. It's being in this world, but not of this world. That's the crux of what we're trying to do. And so the upaguru is always calling us to recognize our oneness, and that we are only one being in a multiplicity world. And what I do to anyone else, I only do to myself. Oh, if there was anything that I hope to embody, it's that I don't have the luxury of a negative thought. I don't have the luxury of othering someone else, because all I'm doing is that to myself. I'm projecting hatred, and it comes right back onto me. And the higher we go in our spiritual learning, the quicker it is. It used to be that it would take a while for it to come back to me. Now, boom, it's like, nope, you can't get away with that. That is the essence of who we are. And so as we recognize this, we know that, the word guru itself, many of us think, oh, that's an enlightened being. That's someone who's way above us with expertise. And they're so much higher than where we're at. But the word guru actually means in Hindu, going from darkness to light. And so the guru that we aspire to be, the guru that we are connected with, is actually leading us from darkness to light. And isn't that a fabulous way of looking at it? That the guru that is always within us is always leading us from darkness to light. And so taking us out of our comfort zone and into the courageous stance of spiritual stewardship. Because it takes courage to walk this walk, doesn't it? The law of cause and effect is one of the most difficult paths that we can choose, because we know that what we put out is what comes back to us. And that's why many people aren't up for this level of spiritual growth, because it calls them into being responsible for their actions. And not everyone is available for that yet. And yet, you and I, if you're within the sound of my voice, if you're in Unity of Bellevue or wherever you're watching this from, you have made a choice that you do want to be on this path. And you do want to know that at every moment of every day, you are being taught by Spirit through others around us. You are being taught by Spirit to stand forth in your beautiful spiritual beingness. So some of our upagurus come into our life and they stay there for a long time, and others flit in and out in an instant because they taught us what they need to teach us, and then they can move on. And this is the wonderful idea that not everything comes to stay. Some things come and lift us up and move right on out through our life. Elizabeth Goodman writes, sometimes we meet a stranger for just a moment, but the stranger in that moment exhibits such grace that the stranger is one of our teachers for life. It is by being open and spacious that we get the opportunity to recognize those who have just one perfect teaching for us. When we are closed off, listen to this, we can miss both teachers and the teachings. Are you available? Are you open? Are you spacious enough for teaching? And I think all of us really try to do that. We are conscious that that is what we want to be, but sometimes we make it and sometimes we don't. I remember way back when I think I was around 6 or 7. I know I was in elementary school because I remember the school, and I was always very tall as a child. I'm 5'10" today, so I continue to be tall, but I was always so much larger than most of my fellow students. But there was a young boy who, I think he was older than me, decided he was going to pick on me. And so when we went out to the playground, he started picking on me. And I did not like it. So I went over and stood next to the teacher who was overseeing the playground. Now, when I was standing next to her, he didn't bother me because, of course, I was standing next to the teacher. Well, he really bullied me so much that every day when we went out to the playground, I would walk over and stand next to the teacher. It was awful. It was really miserable to be in that experience. And yet I didn't know how to express myself, and I didn't know what to do. And I didn't want to say to the teacher, I'm being bullied, because of course he never did it in front of her. But something shifted in me, because I know unconsciously I realized he was teaching me something. What was he there to teach me? He was calling forth my voice. He was calling forth my strength and my courage. And so one day I decided I'd had enough. And he came up to me. I did not go to the teacher that day. He came up to me to pick on me. And I drew myself up to my full height. And I don't even remember what I said. But whatever it was, he got it, that he wasn't going to be able to pick on me any longer. And it was just in that moment. It's not like I had to wave a magic wand. He just got it, that I had risen to a new level of consciousness. And he could no longer do that. That lesson served me well. I'm grateful to him. He was a fantastic teacher because he drew out of me something that wasn't coming out on its own. And so I got to thank that bully for ever since then. I have thanked him and been eternally grateful for him in my life, because when those people show up in our lives, they are simply calling greatness out of us that somehow is not coming out on its own. And so I look back and I think, where were those teachers in my life? Where were those people that I really, really wanted to be able to be differently with them? And somehow I pulled myself up to that place. One of my teachers in ministerial training called these her master teachers, her Upa gurus. She called them her master teachers. And she was quite open about how her mother was at the top of the list. She'd had a very difficult childhood with her mother, and it continued into adulthood. And because of that difficulty in relationship, it pulled out of her something that she would not have experienced otherwise. She was grateful that her mother was her master teacher. Now, that didn't make the relationship any easier, only in the sense that she understood, oh, okay, this is teaching me something. And she pulled herself out of victimhood into a place of empowerment, that she could somehow leave that place of comfort. It's very comfortable to be in victimhood. Would you agree? It's very comfortable to stay there and whine and complain. And you'll easily find people to join your pity party. But when we pull ourselves out of that into a place of empowerment and saying, I'm not going to take this any longer. I'm going to have healthy boundaries in my life. That's what those master teachers teach us. They bring us to a place of a deeper awareness of how we can fully live our lives so that we are not ever challenged again. It doesn't even become an issue any longer. When we rise to that place in consciousness, it's not an issue any longer, unless we need to learn that lesson again. And sometimes that happens too. And I love what the Sufi master, I'll go back to sharing my screen with you. The Sufi master tells us, he says, God breaks the heart again and again and again until it stays open. That's by Hazrat Inayat Khan. And so I'm not the only one on this call that has had their heart broken. And yet when I recognize that it's there for me to surrender and open myself up to a larger lesson that is coming through, that is far more palatable for me. And I know that you and I have had opportunities to have our heart broken, and our disappointments and even betrayals that come into our life are there to call us to a greater experience of God. A greater experience of God. And that seems almost counterintuitive, doesn't it? Because it's like, well, why would we have to go through that? Because sometimes I've had to learn that I don't have all the answers. Can I get an amen to that? I don't have all the answers. And that if I simply allow myself to be the student of life, the student of the universe, the student of spirit, boy, things get a whole lot easier, because I'm now available to learn from everyone and everything in my life. This kind of spiritual path takes incredible, incredible courage. You've got to really commit to this. because you will be challenged again and again and again. But that challenge is actually the juice of life. That is what brings us to a place where we know there's times now that I know nobody can bully me because I went through that experience. And so you and I are opening ourselves up to greater experiences when we allow ourselves the healing process, even when there's pain, when there's heartbreak. All of that is for our highest good. And change is our teacher. Change right now is the calling card of the world. I mean, we have so much change going on. There's this pattern interrupt that is happening that most of us are going, oh my gosh, I can't keep up with everything, because there are shifts that are happening hourly, even every second. There are shifts that are happening, and you and I are struggling to keep up with this. I got to tell you, it's exhausting, because we're trying to stay on this cutting edge of spiritual growth while the world is changing around us. The rules are changing. Everything is changing. Our bodies are changing. Our lives are changing. Our relationships, everything is up for grabs right now. And Mark Nepo, who is another one of my favorite authors, he even talks about how cancer was his teacher. He says, cancer and impending death taught me that life is precious. And that comes from his wonderful book called The Exquisite Risk. Now, that takes a tremendous amount of surrender when you go, okay, cancer is my teacher here. Now, that's not something that most of us would say, yep, bring it on. And yet, when cancer showed up in his life, he was totally ready and available for it. And he was ready to understand that even in the midst of illness, even in the midst of his body doing things that he didn't understand and was clearly not on board with, because he wanted to have a healthy body, but he was able to rise above that and say, I'm open for the lesson here. What is calling forth the greatness in me now? And as a result, he does not take life for granted, not for 1 minute. He tells a story in Exquisite Risk, how they gave him his second round of chemo. They gave him a drug that they warned him, said, look, this is going to give you short-term amnesia. And so he was aware of that. He got through the chemo fine, but about 3 or 4 weeks after that chemo round started, he got things in the mail that he was like really puzzled. They were tickets to Broadway plays and tickets to other things that he had ordered apparently online, had totally no recollection of doing this because of the drug that had given him the short-term amnesia. And it also included tickets to St. Martin, the island of the Caribbean, for him and 7 of his closest family and friends. And he was like, oh my God, I ordered all this stuff. And what he did was he sent back everything except those tickets to St. Martin. And he said, when I get through this, when I come out on the other side and I'm healed, then I'm taking all of my friends and my family on that trip to St. Martin. And that's exactly what he did. So he had a new relationship with health and a new way of looking at things, simply by going through a healing experience that taught him that he was far more powerful than he even realized. Most of us take our health for granted, don't we? It's there until it's not. And then all of a sudden, he had to understand that approaching the possibility of death gave him the insight that he had to live life holding nothing back. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is something that he knows he has to show up every day, every moment of every day, with full force and ready to be the master that he is. You know, there are hard teachers that come into our lives. Maybe some have crossed your mind as I've been talking. Maybe there are people in your life and they even could be family members, that were very difficult to grow up with and to be a part of your life as you were growing up, or even in adulthood. Maybe they're in your life right now and they're causing distress to you. And so people will say to me when they call me for prayer work, how do I handle someone who's given me so much heartache and even betrayed me? How do I handle that? How do I move into a place that is okay, and how do I work through my own disappointment and even anger around that? Well, even those opportunities open up us to something greater. This is where we have to stay the course of courage over comfort. It's really easy, as I said earlier, to stay in that victimhood of, well, they did me wrong. And I can sing that song all day long. I got really good at it for a long time. And then I realized victimhood was not where I wanted to live. That was a neighborhood that did not suit me. And so I decided to upgrade my neighborhood and move to a place of empowerment, a place where I could say, you know what, this happened. It made me who I am today, and I'm grateful for that person being in my life. That is not very easy. I worked with a man who came to me for prayer, and he said, I work in a horrible place. It's the employees around him treated him terribly. His boss treated him terribly. And he was just going on and on about his situation. And I said to him, what if, just imagine, what if you were there simply to be a light in the darkness? If that place is so dark as you describe it, what if you are there to be the light? That is your only role. I don't know if you can hear that thunder that just rolled through my neighborhood, but God apparently is going, yeah. So what if he was there simply to be the light? And he got very quiet and he said, oh, I get it. I can do that. He shifted completely from being a victim in his workplace to, I'm going to be the light. I'm going to show up and be the love and kindness and compassion that I am. And who cares what, that's on them if they do anything else. It made a huge difference, just that question. So Brene Brown, I'll go back to showing my screen again, because she's the one that we're studying this month. Brene Brown actually says, you either walk into your story and own your truth, or you live outside your story, hustling for your worthiness. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm done with hustling for my worthiness. I have been there, done that, years, decades. I'm done. Because you're only as good as what you last produced. You're only as good as your last talk. You're only as, all of that. It is exhausting to be in this. And hustling for our worthiness is not, you are not having to hustle for anything. Your worthiness is simply that you showed up on this planet, that you are here. You are a magnificent being. No matter what you do or say, you are it. And so when we get to that place, which is what Brene is talking about, owning our story and getting to a place of, hey, that experience made me who I am. That person made me who I am. And I own it. I'm grateful for it. I surrender to it. And the lessons that I got were well worth whatever I went through. That's the place that she's talking about in Rising Strong. So what do we do with the heartache then? How do we, as I wrap up here, I've got a few minutes left. How do we handle that? How do we handle the heartache and the just the forgiveness aspect of some people in our lives? I just went through, let me get really personal here. I just went through losing a sibling. My brother passed away 2 weeks ago, and he's a year younger than me. And if I'm really honest, he never really was a brother. He just did not, he wasn't capable of that. And maybe you have experienced that in your own life where there's dysfunction in the family, but my brother was an alcoholic his entire life and just wasn't, he didn't have the ability to rise to a place where he could be there for anyone, and much less his sister or brother. And so I recognize that he could only do so much, but there was always this hope that someday, he went to rehab last year, and I thought maybe this is it. Maybe he can turn around. Maybe he'll understand what is going on. And yet he didn't have that capability within him. And the very last conversation I had with him, just a few days before he passed, he was still in his victimhood, complaining about this and about that, and life wasn't fair, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, Jay, you just got to let it go. You got to let it go. There's so much more here that is available to you if you just open your eyes to it. But he wasn't open to that either. But in his own way, even though I didn't really have a relationship with him, in his own way, Jay called out the best in me. He called it out because I had to rise to a place of loving someone even when they were displaying unloving behaviors. Are you with me on this? Even in the midst of someone displaying unloving behaviors and unskilled behavior, that's why I like to call it, it's unskilled behavior, I can still rise to my level of loving kindness. That's the real test. And so I'm grateful for Jay, even though I'm grieving now for the loss of what could have been, because we never had it, and we'll never be able to get back to it. And frankly, there's a lot of anger around the things that he did. He did some really awful things to our family members. And yet, the spiritual component that I'm trying to bring myself up to is taking myself out of the comfort of playing victim in that, to a place of courage and going, I'm going to be the best sister I know how to be. That's my contract. And that's all I can do is take care of my side of the road. His side of the road is his business. There's my business, there's his business, and there's God's business. And so I'm about my business. And so is there someone in your life, perhaps, that is calling you to a greater expression, that is your master teacher or your Upu Guru? Is there someone who you feel like, I wish they just weren't in my life? Bless them. Thank them. Be grateful for them. That's the role that we have to take. That is rising us up to a greater expression of being the spiritual masters that you and I are. And I got to tell you, I want to be a spiritual master. And that means loving everyone, not cutting anyone out of my life, and not othering someone. That is a hard row to hoe. And yet, I choose that. I choose it. I'm not perfect. And I've got very mixed emotions still around my brother's death. But I'm stepping into being teachable. I'm stepping into a higher level of how can I be compassionate toward my brother, my soul brother? Because even if we were only, lived together, in our home, our childhood home, and never really connected, he still is my soul brother. He still is a part of my oneness. And I have to honor that and recognize that and bless him on his way, bless him on his path that only he can choose. And so you and I have big shoes to fill. When I think about the masters who have walked before us, the great teachers, Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, etc., those are people that have displayed these characteristics of loving kindness, even when it was not given to them. I know I'm on that path. I think you are too. And so I hope that this morning has given you a new sense of mission, a new sense of purpose, that you are here to be the highest spiritual master you know how to be, and to choose courage over comfort and live your story, your way. Namaste. And so now we are blessed, since we're coming up on 2:18, or it's 2:18 my time. We're going to hear again from Amber. So take it away, Amber.
Noticed he was nameless, he was homeless. She asked him his name and told him what hers was. Gave her a story about life with a glint in his eye, in a corner of a smile, one conversation, simple moment, the things that change us. If we notice, we look up sometimes. They said that I would never make it, but I was built to break the mold. Only dream that I've been chasing is my own. So I sing a song for the hustlers waiting at the bus stop, single mothers waiting on a check to come, young teachers, student doctors, sons on the front lines knowing they don't get to run. This goes out to the underdog. Keep on keeping it what you love. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you're gonna rise up, rise up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. She's riding in a taxi back to the kitchen, talking to the driver about his wife and his children on the run from a country that put you in prison for being a woman, speaking your mind. She looked in his eyes in the mirror and he smiled. One conversation, simple moment, the things that change us if we notice when we look up. Sometimes they said that I would never make it, but I was built to break the mold. Only dreams that I've been chasing on my own. So I sing a song for the hustlers waiting at the bus stop, single mothers waiting on a check to come, young teachers, student doctors, sons on the front lines knowing they don't get to run. This goes out to the underdog. Keep on keeping it what you love. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you're gonna rise up, rise up. Ooh, you're gonna rise up. I sing a song for the hustlers waiting at the bus stop, single mothers waiting on a check to come, young teachers, student doctors, sons on the front lines knowing they don't get to run. This goes out to the underdog. Keep on keeping it what you love. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you're gonna rise up, rise up. You're gonna rise up. Well, now's the time to rise up. Let's rise up. I sing a song for the hustlers waiting at the bus stop, single mothers waiting on a check to come, young teachers, student doctors, sons on the front lines knowing they don't get to run. This goes out to the underdog. Keep on keeping it what you love. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you're gonna rise up. Oh, oh. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you're gonna rise up, rise up. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you're gonna rise up, rise up. Ooh, ooh, let's rise up, yeah. Let's rise up.
Ken? Am I the only one who can't hear Ken? Ken, I think there's something up with your audio because you're not muted. And I'm sure you're being very eloquent, but I can't hear you. Nope, not working yet. Maybe it down at the bottom in your audio button. Hmm. Ken is chatting. I think I'm having internet issues. Susan, would you be able to step up and manage this piece right now?
Sure thing.
Sorry, Ken. I'm grateful. Next week. We'll get it right next week.
That's all right, Kim. So this is the point in our service where we talk about sharing our gifts and sharing them with the source of our spiritual growth. And we talk about this because even just being online, there are some things that we have to keep up, like our building and our staff salaries and so on and so forth. As many people have shared, I came to Unity of Bellevue in a time of great personal distress. And I have been here about 4 years and have found such a loving community here with the people that are on this virtual service. The teachings, the principles have really aided me in my life to raise in consciousness. I loved Reverend Sally's message today because it is a daily challenge to always look at everything around us as teachers. If you are inclined to give to Unity of Bellevue, you can go on to our website and go into the Give tab, or you can text to the number that's on the screen. We are so grateful for all of the gifts that people give to our center. In that consciousness, let's affirm our offering affirmation together. All right, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
Gracious and loving presence, we give gratitude to the divine abundance that blesses us with every good thing. And in turn, we bless these tithes and offerings with love, with joy, with peace, knowing they shall do a great and mighty work in our community and in the world. And we know that energy flows where intention goes, and so we intend abundance and wholeness for all in a world that works for all. We are so grateful, and so it is. Hi, everyone. My name is Monica McDowell Elvig. I am your center administrator. We are so glad you are with us today. If you are visiting with us virtually for the first time, welcome. We are so happy to have you enter into our community of oneness. We want to walk that path with you, and we invite you to join us for all of our online community offerings that we have going right now. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about some of them, but the best way to stay connected to us at this time is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, where we announce and tell you about all of the different things that we have. So if you would like to receive that weekly e-newsletter, you can sign up on our website, unityofbellevue.org. At the bottom of every page is a sign-up form for our weekly e-newsletter. We'd love to hear from you. You can also reach out via phone or email, or social media. Just give us a shout out and tell us who you are. We are so grateful for you. We open our hearts to you. We have an announcement from Ken, but I'm not sure his volume is working yet. So Ken, do you want to try again and just see? Nope, not working still. Nope, sorry. So I'm going to step in and give that divine dining announcement. Sorry, we were happy to have Ken because he had a special something, but we'll get it. There it is. He's holding it up. You might not be able to see him. He's holding up wine bottles. So thank you, Ken. Ken and Dorothy will be writing up a little section in our divine dining cookbook that we're putting together on wine pairing. And so we're excited to have Ken do that along with Dorothy. I just want to announce that today is the day to get those recipes in if you want to be considered for the Taster's Choice contest that we're going to have. You can still submit your recipes. We'd love to have a lot more recipes come in the next few weeks. But over the next couple of weeks, once I've got them all onto the website, we're going to let you choose the recipes that we've posted, and you can then vote on your favorite recipes. So, and that will be noted in our cookbook when we publish it later this fall. So to first of all, to submit your recipes, go to our website, unityofbellevue.org. Under events, under Divine Dining Cookbook, there's the link there to fill out the form for each recipe that you submit, up to 6 for each person or household. And then look for, on that same page, look for all the recipes coming up. It'll take me a couple of days to get them all up, and then start trying them out. And you'll get the chance to vote on those. So thank you to Jean for putting that all together. Thank you to Ken for being willing to announce, and we'll catch up with him later. Our book of the month is Rising Strong by Brene Brown. I've got 1 copy left. If you would like that, you can order that through our website under Events Book of the Month, and I'm happy to ship that to you. $20 covers everything. One of the things that we're offering online every week is Wednesday Community Connect. That's at 1 p.m. on our Zoom link that you can access through our website, unityofbellevue.org/launch. It's a time when we're informally checking in with each other to see how we're doing and to help us stay focused on our spiritual principles and practices. We'd love to have you join us for that. Our sacred service that's been going on for pretty much all year is going to come to an end. So this Wednesday, if you have any remaining items in your house that you'd like to donate to Unity of Bellevue, I will be in the office this week, Monday and Wednesday. Wednesday will be the final day to bring those items. I'll be here between 10 and 3 for sure. You can send me an email if you'd like to schedule that time so we can have you drop off those items. And then Sabrina, our Youth and Family Director, is going to arrange to have those exchanged with Value Village for dollars as a fundraiser for youth and family. If you have any questions, you can contact me or her. And if you would like to help her get those to Value Village, be in contact with her via email, sabrina.m@unityofbellevue.org. I've got a breathwork practice group coming up this Tuesday, 7 o'clock for half an hour. You can sign up on our website, unityofbellevue.org, events and classes and workshops. We're just practicing the breathwork together, half an hour. Love offering is gratefully accepted. And Reverend Marla has an announcement.
Yeah, so I have an announcement about what's coming up, but I want to say also what's happening right now. I think most of you know that I am still allowing this virus called COVID-19 to work its way through my body. You can probably tell I still have a pretty sore throat and my voice is not strong. But you know, many of you have been chatting with me privately, like, how are you doing? And I'm doing very well. I will say that I feel grateful to be in the 80% of people who seem to have mild symptoms. Mild is still kind of sick, let me just say that. So I'm not feeling that great, but I'm also doing just fine, and I feel this working its way through my body. So I wanted to let you know, and I also wanted to let you know, as Reverend Sally was talking, I was really thinking of COVID-19 as my spiritual teacher right now, and that what it is really teaching me is patience. Patience with the process. So that's my lesson. I also wanted to let you know I am going to be on vacation 2 Sundays next month. And that is something that, you know, has been on the calendar for a bit. And as Becca and I were talking through, how do we want to cover the Sundays that I'm away a few weeks ago now, one of the things that came up was we could have an opportunity to do a speaker-singer series. And so we were able to come up with a pretty good plan for that. And I want to share it with you now because I'm excited about what's happening at our center over the next 6 weeks. And Bailey is very excited too. Are you excited, little Bailey? Come on, you got to get down for one more minute. I'm excited to tell you, oh gosh, poor kitty. I'm excited to tell you we have just this palette of amazing musicians and guest speakers joining us. Andy Harrison, Reverend Z. Egloff, and Reverend Melissa Felipe, Reverend David Altis from the Atlanta area, Daniel Namod, also from Georgia, Nathan Aswell from Vancouver, British Columbia, Gino Walker, one of my all-time faves, Reverend Karen Drucker. These folks are joining us July 26th through September 6th, those 6 Sundays, to provide both the music and the message. Essentially, we're going to mostly hand this hour over to those people to take us deep in spiritual awareness and heart-opening music. And so I'm looking forward to this. We'll be getting the word out in the coming week. Share with the people that you know that this is coming up, and we will get together in spiritual community with these folks. I will be here for most of these Sundays, but not all of these Sundays. And I'm really grateful to welcome this event into the life of our community. So thank you, Monica, for the time, and please join us, everyone. It's going to be terrific.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining with us today. Thank you for Reverend Sally for that courageous message, helping us stay focused when life is giving us all sorts of teachers to help us stay on our path to embrace our oneness in greater and more expanding ways. Thank you so much for that message. It was inspiring. We want to thank Amber for her music, her spiritful music. That was really a treat. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ken, for being our board host. Muted or not, we love you. Susan, thank you for doing our meditation service. Becca, our music director, and Sabrina has posted her Unity Kids show that she does for our children and youth and for adults. That's on our Unity Kids Facebook page that is posted as of 10 o'clock every Sunday. She would love to have you like that page and keep up with her on that. So, and share it. For our prayer circle today, the prayer chaplains are going to just stay on after service. So if you have any prayer requests, Susan and Lori will be with you to pray with you after the service. We're going to ask everyone to log off. I'll stop the live stream. We'll have a confidential prayer circle. So just stay on after service if you want to join us in that prayer circle. If you can't join us for the prayer circle, you are welcome to email any prayer requests to them at prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org, or to go to our website, unityofbellevue.org/pray, and fill out the prayer request form. If you'd like one of them to call you, please put that in the message, and they would be happy to call you and pray with you or talk with you. Thank you, everyone. Let's close with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed week. Just stay on for the prayer circle. It'll start in a couple minutes.
There are times when I cannot see the path in front of me. I lose my way. I feel so alone, like every friend I've ever known is gone. So far, far from home. Then I hear life call to me. There are choices to make. So how will it be? Are you gonna play safe, risk nothing at all? Or will you rise up with the colors of dawn, illuminating every step that you take? And I'm rising in love. I'm rising in love. This is my choice. This is my life.